everybody. Let's rock some old school punk rock, okay? Today we're gonna do some Sex Pistols and Clash. And as you can see, I've got a couple of Against Me 7 inches out right now, but we're gonna get to that. Alright, so let's start off with some Sid Vicious, who obviously was in the Sex Pistols. But this is Sid Vicious live at Max's 1978. And this is actually after he would leave the Sex Pistols and go for his own solo stint in New York City and have guest appearances from people such as Johnny Thunders, Mick Jones. And then here is another Sid Vicious vinyl that I have, limited edition 1000. And Interpunk, you know, there's a website called interpunk.com. They've got all kinds of really good vinyl, but like, it's sort of like, it's almost like they have too much stuff. If you get addicted to buying Interpunk stuff, it's bad. But, alright, so right here, this is Johnny Rotten. This is John Lydon, who was in the Sex Pistols, and this is his first album outside of the Pistols, Public Image Limited. And it's a really good album, actually. Sid Vicious and Johnny Rotten both didn't have very good careers outside of the Pistols, honestly. So this is just this is a Sid Vicious CD that I have, which is, you know, I've got those two Sid vinyl, and this is basically that. As you can see, this is like the shot of the vinyl that I have. This is the original Anarchy in the UK, I Wanna Be Me 12-inch single. And it's a French import, as you can see. 1977 Glitter Best. And like, it's literally probably packaged, you can see on here, it says 1977 Glitter Best. And that is like Malcolm McLaren and the Pistols. Like, that's their original home base, so, you know, it's genuine. And then I have the God Save the Queen, an original pressing of the God Save the Queen 7-inch. So I've got an original pressing of the Anarchy in the UK 12-inch and an original pressing of the God Save the Queen 7-inch. 1977 Artifact. And I've got this awesome Pistol 7-inch. This is my only other 7-inch I have. And it's Revolution in the Classroom, Schools or Prison, clear. And they got a couple different versions of this, like a black one and then another color or two. Alright, so the reason I have my Against Me 7 inches out is because my first two records ever, the first two records I ever owned were this Against Me 7-inch, this right here, and my single vinyl Great Rock and Roll Swindle. Okay? So I thought it was really awesome that you can see the lettering right here. I thought it was really cool that my first two records, my Against Me 7-inch and my Sex Pistols 12-inch, had the very similar rainbow lettering. And this all has to do with Cincinnati, Ohio. And the fact that Cincinnati, Ohio has a very infinite punk rock scene. So, moving on to outside of Sid Vicious and the Sex Pistols' early single days. This is The Great Rock and Roll Swindle, is the awesome, epic movie that Julian Temple, who was in film school when he met Malcolm McLaren in the Sex Pistols, back up a little bit. He recorded a lot of footage, and this is the double vinyl of The Great Rock and Roll Swindle. So I've got the single vinyl right here, which is like literally my first record or so, and this is the double vinyl that says Who Killed Bambi, and then this is actually like a third release from The Great Rock and Roll Swindle, and it's just like interviews and stuff like that. And I actually have the movie right here, the Swindle DVD, and I have the Great Rock and Roll Swindle CD, which has like literally all the songs. And then Julian Temple, like I said, Julian Temple was the one who shot the Swindle movie. Julian Temple also made the awesome Sex Pistols movie that they made like really, really famous on IFC, the Independent Film Channel, The Filth and the Fury. That was on IFC a long time ago, and they made that super famous on there. And it's a really good movie. You should check it out. So, Sex Pistols, Great Rock and Roll Swindle movie, Filth and the Fury, Sex Pistols movie. Check them both out. This right here is, of course, the infamous Nevermind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols 1977 album. And even though Sid Vicious is credited on the album, he was most definitely not part of the album, and any bass lines that were played were by Steve Jones, the guitarist, because Sid didn't know how to play his bass. But it's funny because neither did Paul Simonon of The Clash. Paul Simonon of The Clash didn't know how to play his bass either. So when Sid was brought into the Sex Pistols, he had to learn the songs. And then when, you know, it's just an interesting story because Paul and Sid didn't know how to play bass. And then they both sort of hung out with the Rastafari kids and learned how to play bass, learned how to appreciate like real reggae music and the Rasta culture. And so this is my There Is No Future picture vinyl. And these are demos way up there. Alright. And then this Sex Pistols album is called We Have Come For Your Children. You can see Johnny Rotten and Ronald Reagan on the front. And this just has some rare songs and some interviews. Alright, now, moving on to The Clash. I just showed you the Sid Vicious and the Sex Pistol stuff. Alright, now, The Clash. I don't have the first Clash album on vinyl, but here is the self-titled Clash. And I actually have the UK press, not the US. And it is, you know, besides the Sex Pistols, 77, Nevermind the Bollocks, The Clash is self-titled from 77, Ramones self-titled from 76, you know, that's some of the earliest punk. And so then I've got Give 'Em Enough Rope, which is 1978, I believe. Yep. And London Calling, which is one of the best albums of all time. It's a double vinyl. And of course, if you aren't super familiar with the Clash, alright, so this is called Black Market Clash, right? This is Black Market Clash. So it's got 9 songs. Capital Radio 1, The Prisoner, Pressure Drop, Bank Robber, Robber Dub, Justice Tonight, Kick It Over. Okay, so I've got on CD Super Black Market Clash, and it has 21 songs. So Black Market Clash has 9 songs, and I've got Super Black Market Clash, and then this CD is beautiful, and you can see the art behind the CD. So yeah, you have stuff on the Super Black Market Clash that you wouldn't get on just Black Market Clash vinyl, so it's important to have both. And then I've got Combat Rock, which has songs such as Should I Stay or Should I Go, Straight to Hell, and you know, there's a newfound appreciation for Should I Stay or Should I Go because of Stranger Things. So, you know, I'm a huge fan of Know Your Rights. I love Rock the Casbah. You know, Straight to Hell is a song from Joe Strummer to the drummer, Topper Hidden, for being a drug addict and, you know, wishing that he would die and go straight to hell for being a piece of crap. So there's a lot of awesome, rich history to the Clash and to the Sex Pistols. Alright, so one more thing I wanted to show you is, since we're on the subject of the 70s, I wanted to show you guys some Rocky Horror stuff real quick. So this is my Rocky Horror Picture Show vinyl that I got. It's an original pressing, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show came out in 1975. So this vinyl is from 75. It's 45 years old. And then in addition to having this 45-year-old record, Mike is pointing at the poster. Close the door. Right here, I've got an original 1975 Rocky Horror Picture Show poster, along with the original 75 vinyl. I've got an original poster that I actually got off. You know, I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, so this is from downtown Lexington's Kentucky Theater, and I got it off of a record store that's no longer open, or, you know, from around here. And, you know, like I said, that poster's 45 years old. Rocky Horror's 45 years old. This vinyl's 45 years old. So, moving on, I've got this VHS from 1990. It's got, like, extra red on it. Red on the back. So, this VHS right here is 30 years old, from 1990. And then I've got the CD from, I think it's from 89. So this CD's from 89. The VHS is from 90. And I've got the 25-year anniversary from the year 2000 right here. And then it tells you how to do the time warp dance, all the audience participation, prop list, and the character bios. And so, yeah, Sex Pistols, Clash, Rocky Horror Picture Show, you know, old punk rock from England, The Addicts, all that. This is the cream of the crop. And then up here on the wall, I've got Sid and Nancy, Sid Vicious. I got Paul Simonone, which is the cover of The Clash, London Calling. Paul Simonone, who is friends with Sid. They both didn't know how to play the bass. They both learned how to play the bass to play in the bands. But Paul of The Clash, who's smashing his bass, Paul actually cared about learning how to play the bass, and he sort of learned how to do his job and survived. Sid cared more about doing nothing and doing drugs and sort of sunk, while Paul survived. So Paul Simonone learned how to play bass, but didn't know how to play bass before being in the Clash. He was friends with Sid. They hung out with the Rasta kids in the rough part of England in Brixton, you know, which is why there's a Clash song called The Guns of Brixton. So Sid and Paul were friends. They didn't know how to play bass. Paul learned how. So, you know, the Clash and the Pistols and the Ramones and Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, they are punk rock. And yeah, you should, if you don't think that the Pistols and the Clash and Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers aren't better than the Ramones, then you don't really, you know, you haven't spent a lot of time on punk rock and the old days, because the old British punk is better than the old American punk. And that's just a fact. The Clash, the Pistols, the Addicts, the Exploited, the Damned, they're all better. You know, they're better than the Ramones. Sorry. And that's what's up. Crass? Yeah, Crass is definitely better than the Ramones. The Pistols and the Clash are better than the Ramones. So, that's what's up. Love you guys.